Alright fam, this is one of those videos I don't even know if I'm going to post, to be honest, but let's pretend that I am, and let's open the floodgates. This is a very vulnerable story, let's say, and it'll be even funnier if the person is watching this video. But yeah, Costa Rican love story. Not sure I know what love is, but we're just using that as the clickbait title. But I will say, I went to Costa Rica, thought it was going to be a certain way, ended up being different, and I met this girl there, the love interest, let's say. We had a very intimate time, all good vibes, learned a lot about myself and just like the trauma that I was carrying, and honestly was a very beneficial experience for me. And yeah, I'm gonna share it with you. And to preface too, if you're watching this, all good vibes. Yeah, I haven't talked to the person in quite a bit, but that's how life is. We're in different locations in the world. Regardless, I'm gonna tell you the story. So I am an all or nothing person. And to preface this, when I was in college, like, I had fun. Everything regarding my intimate experiences was all meaningless because it was all drunk, or if I wasn't drunk, it was just nothing of sustenance. And I think that's the root cause of many people's intimate lives and point of views, is it lacks sustenance and real growth. And I think that's with everything. Like, I don't believe that alcohol, weed, recreational drugs, weed, mushrooms, sex is a bad thing inherently. They actually can be very beneficial at times. But it's how you use things. It's not if things are good or bad. It's your intentions behind them. So for me, my dynamic was like, I knew what was bad, so I just stayed away from that. I didn't know how to create abundance. I didn't know how to attract the partner. I didn't know what the fully evolved version of me was. But I knew what it wasn't. So when I was in college, you know, I was a victim partly of my circumstances. As you are, you're not a victim, but you're very more inclined to take action based on the circumstances that you have. So I was in college. Like, there's nothing better to do than go hook up with chicks and drink alcohol and get drunk. And there's nothing inherently bad with that. And I had great experiences, great learning lessons, and great experiences too. Like, obviously it's fun. That's why people do it. But when I graduated college, I had already gone through like a spiritual awakening. I'd already known that personal finance was a big part of my journey, and like getting rid of debt. And I knew I wanted to buy an investment property. I knew I wanted to build an online business. So for me at that point, though, I didn't have quite the external circumstances to prove that reality yet. Like, I was still living with my grandparents or my parents, and still was like just half in, half out. But I knew what not to do. I knew not to like go to the bars and create this endless cycle. So when I was out of college, I was around my family, and when I'm around my family, I'm like more of a, like, for me, it's solving situations and creating a cohesive dynamic and optimizing and working and providing value. And I just like never wanted to, and I still don't ever want to like bring somebody I'm not sure of around my family dynamic. So for me, it was like almost like a period of celibacy, minus like a few random times. Like, it was a period of celibacy. I don't even know how long, maybe a year, a little over a year. But what am I trying to say here? Again, I'm going off the top of the dome, so bear with me. But what I'm trying to preface is like, I had all the experiences in college and went through this period of, let's say, not hooking up or anything like that. It was never like opening up my heart. Excuse me. It was never opening up my heart and it was never something real. And the reason I want to say that is there's a bridge to be gapped there. And I knew, like, I was creating this vision, figuring out, oh, I want to do business, this and that, and what led me to my first investment property, what led me to Costa Rica after a few years. This is like years after college, but and I don't know the timeline exactly, but I had strayed away for a long time because I didn't want to go back into falling into the same patterns, bad patterns. And always, like, being, back in college, like, being on hookup apps, and, like, that's all you're thinking of is, like, oh, is this girl messaging me, this and that, and, like, I deleted everything, Snapchat, all this shit, all that mindless, stupid ass shit. I unfollowed everybody from my hometown. I distanced myself completely, and I didn't know quite who I wanted to be or where I was, but in that figuring out period, maybe where you are, it's good to eliminate. So get rid of the bad first. So I wasn't doing random hookups. I wasn't, because I was just dialed in. And even though I might not have been dialed in on the best way, I just knew that wasn't going to serve me at the time. But regardless, to get to the point, like, I'm an all or nothing person. Like, when I was in college, I had fun, and then out of it, I knew the life I wanted to create, and I think very traditional value systems. I want to be able to take care of the woman that I bring into my life. I want to have full presence with her, and I want to enjoy our time together. And for me, and maybe for you as well, it's like, you have to heal yourself, and you have to cultivate love for yourself before it's even going to serve you to embark on these things. And I'm not saying not to, like, go hook up and have sex and learn the lessons. So I'm not telling you, I'm just giving you my perspective and sharing my story. That's simply what I'm doing. But regardless, college, whatever, home, buy this property. And I had ended up losing my corporate job. Corporate, I don't know. It was loan officer, remote loan officer at I don't even know if that's corporate. But anyways, maybe it's consumer. But finance position, I guess you could say, industry. And at that point, I'm like going full bore on this online business that I want to create now. And I'm like, the first step for me is like, well, I'd already bought the property and created and optimized my dynamic, but I wanted to even go more. And I solo traveled to Costa Rica, like I said, and there's a video about that also before this. And but inherently, I guess I was like still in that, when you don't have, it's like your inherent system is to want. And when I'm not in a state of wanting, I'm in a state of peace and presence. But when I'm wanting, I don't have. And not that I was even looking for this. Because I was portraying myself as aligning with who I wanted to be. I was out there. I was putting myself out of my comfort zone. I was meeting cool people, and like, shout out to the people that I met. Lasting relationships that I'll never forget. And now I'm going to get to like the funny ass shit, like, that I don't even think she knows. And yeah, it's just funny. So again, I'm in Jaco, Costa Rica, which isn't, I don't know, I don't think I'd go back there. But I didn't know shit about traveling or like the area, so I just went there. It was like the cheapest Airbnb, which led me to like cooler places that I enjoyed more. That's not the point of this video. But anyways, I'm at this hostel, and I just had like this beach day with this girl that I met and a bunch of her friends. And we went to this beach. It was sick. And then we get off the shuttle. And we get off the shuttle back at the hostel. Again, this chick, she's wicked cool. Not the chick that the story's about. But I get off this bus, and like, I remember seeing this other chick get off like her shuttle. She must have like just checking into the hostel. I was like, holy shit, she is very attractive. And it was funny though, because later that night, the only reason I went back to like eat dinner was, I was like, dude, if that chick's there, like, I gotta talk to her. That's literally the only reason I went there. And it's just funny how that one little thought and like action created so much change in my life. And then now I'm in a place, it's been a while since our time together, and like I can reflect and share lessons regarding it, but ultimately a very positive experience. And but as she got off the shuttle, and very attractive, I was like, dude, I should go back there. Maybe I won't, like whatever. I was like going there a few times, met some really cool people there. And so I go back, and then she's sitting with this other guy next to her, and they're talking. So at first I'm like, maybe they're like married or something. And it ended up just being somebody she had met that day as well. And he was a really cool dude. Yeah, I just figured out that they had just met, and I ended up being like, we should go on this hike the next day. So anyways, we go on a hike, we hang out for like a day or two, and but like we're flirting the whole time, and yeah, like I was vibing. But regardless, it ended up coming like she was going to a different location, or she was thinking about it. And I'm there, I'm alone. I'm like, so we had wrapped up one of our hikes, and she was like, I might be going to a different location, Santa Teresa. Actually, I was the one who, I think I told her to go there. But then the night before she was leaving, I was like, let's just go together. And she was like, this is, I don't know, yada, yada, yada. I'm like, we got to figure it out now, though, because the guy who is going to send us or, like, help us get picked up and shit, I have to let know. And we were just like, fuck it. And maybe that was, like, even for me, like, let's go travel together for, I think it was, like, a week or so. Like, was, like, weird and all, not weird, but, like, crazy of me to even ask. And then fucking crazy of her to accept too. Like, what the fuck? But again, we had some chemistry and vibes up until that point. I was just like, fuck it. Who knows? You know what I mean? And so I asked, and she's like, sure, let's do it. And so we got together that night, and we like planned kind of the trip, and we're just like laughing the whole time. We're having fun. And so we go to Santa Teresa together. And I'm going to spare any, like, details that don't need to be shared. But, like, it was a very beautiful experience. And even if I never see this person again, never talk to her again, it was one I'll never forget. And it was one that it literally changed my brain chemistry. Because I had never opened up my heart like that. I will say it was an experience of opening up my heart that I've never experienced. And maybe I never thought I was worthy of, or never experienced. Never thought I was worthy enough, and never, I don't know, maybe in the back of my head, never thought it would happen. But it was a very beautiful and loving experience, and literally, like, equate what we had gone through, like the 5 to 7 days we were together 24/7, is like, you know, when you meet somebody, and maybe like equates to like 3 months if you're like meeting every 2 weeks or this and that. And like the amount of sheer volume of time we spent together, it like accelerated our growth of that, of like, you know, equating to like a normal thing of like 3 months, let's say. And even so much so of like, the craziest thing actually happened. This is a really cool story too. It was Valentine's, so I was like, fuck it. Like, well, not fuck it, but she was my Valentine. And we ended up, like, this is how that shit works. It's crazy. We ended up going to this random restaurant on Valentine's Day, and these people were singing, And they were like, oh, we're just singing off the top of the dome based on like the stories you give. So they literally we told them our story, and they actually made a story, or they sung a freaking song about our whole dynamic of meeting. It was like a beautiful song. I was like, holy shit, this is awesome. And so let's culminate. Let's summarize that into like a very vulnerable, heart-opening experience that I'm very grateful for. And but why is that the case, though? I don't really think I was trying to receive that. I didn't even think it was possible, actually. And but I just put myself out there, and we just started talking here and there. And it was like one that I've experienced like without alcohol or like other vices, like lowering our I'm just saying it wasn't like a drunk hookup is what I'm getting at. It was something more meaningful. And for me, I was like aligned in like who I had wanted to be and who I was and who I was becoming. And there was no like question or insecurity or overthinking. It was just from a state of flow. And the reason I'm saying this is take the risk. Take the risk. And to really see the beauty of what lies beyond that veil of fear, you have to go outside of your comfort zone. And it took me a long time to do that. And it took me even being in a whole, so even traveling, the aspect of traveling and putting yourself out there and getting out of your normal dynamic, surely that played into the role. Like it was a vacation for both of us. Surely. I haven't talked to her in a long time because I'm busy and I like I'm doing shit. And surely she is too. Like, and we don't really live that close to each other. And again, if I never see her again and never talk to her again, it will be a great experience. And who knows what's to come of it. But only good lessons as of now. But the other thing I want to share is surely, like, getting back into the normal swing of things was hard because I was wrenched between this like experience that I had that was so life uplifting. And I realized like that is a dynamic that I want to cultivate in my future and build my life around, in the sense where like having somebody there supporting you fully and being there to support and love and you being there to protect, support, and love is a dynamic that if you have the same value systems and you communicate properly, it is one that literally builds empires. And that's the realization. I'm like, fuck. Like, but there was part of me, like when I'm coming back to this routine of back in my, where my property is and back with my family, it was so hard. It was such a big dichotomy. And I struggled with that. And it made me even go back into some more mental patterns that weren't serving me. But what I'm saying is everything is meant to happen and be there for you to learn and grow and be present with. So that is the case because, well, I had other things I needed to take care of, and I had life I need to optimize, build, and create now and here. So instead of being resistant and fearful and desperate, accepting with love, learning lessons, and yes, it was a hard dynamic to come back to that. But in a state of reflection, I realized that it's because it needed to be that way. Because I was still in a stage of my life where I had other things to take care of. I had that life and that dynamic that I want to build, to cultivate that, to bring what we had into a future thing, whether it's with a different person, whether it's at a way further time. Who can tell? That's what I'm saying is like we try to manipulate things out of fear. We think, oh, well, we know what traveling is going to be like. We think we know how this person's going to be. We think we know what love is. We think we know what the answer is. But you fucking don't know. And the things that change your life come when you're not thinking, trying, wanting in a state of desperation. They come when you're least expecting it. And to the person I hope it's okay that I shared our story partly, and maybe you understood part of my perspective that you didn't know. But surely it was an amazing experience, and I'll carry it with me for the rest of my life. And I have nothing but good and positive things to say about you, and I wish you the best in whatever comes on the next aspect of your life. And who knows? But regardless, just a funny story of the Costa Rica vibes. That place brings people together. But it also, I have quite a bit of other stories regarding there as well. But I hope you gained some value, and that was pretty vulnerable for me, so be easy with me, fam. Anyways, much love. Let's get this money, fam. If you enjoyed the video, subscribe, like the video, and we're pumping them out, bro. Bro, we're creating abundance and freedom. We're letting go of fear, and we're continuing to move forward and create the lives that we want by accepting who we are in this moment. Thank you, fam. Peace.